your pride. Show me your greatness.
Happening plebs, today we're going to be talking about pendulums and how good are they going to be next set. So let's start off right off the bat and discuss pendulum mechanic as its like standalone thing. So pendulums, are they a good deck? First of all, you're probably wondering, are they still a good deck despite the ban list? Absolutely. The deck is still absolutely fantastic. It still has its monkey board, its 1-card scale, it still has its Crobat. Sorcerer is still at 3, which is a very important search card. It lost its Ignister and Face Off, so obviously getting access to Ignister is going to be hard, and at the same time being able to like make sure and protect your Ignister from being stopped in any shape or form by a strike, a Dart Destroyer pop, is obviously going to cripple the deck. But let's talk about the deck in a vacuum. Is it still strong? Yes, of course. The pendulum mechanic is very good, it's very powerful, it's very fast. Some of the first turn boards that you can do are still absolutely fantastic. You can still use your Ariadnes, you can still pop with Sky Iris. We get 2 new support cards in the shape of Odd Eyes, Performer Power Unicorn, and Phoenix, which help you set up your scales really easily. Phoenix is kind of decent as well because it boosts your attack and that sort of maybe can out Dart Destroyer. So the deck can still make very, very nutty first turn boards. You can still go Magister, Dynastor, and like something else potentially with like a full scale for next turn. These are all very, very powerful things. The deck is still absolutely fantastic. The problem is, however, is the fact that while pendulums are good, this is not the time for them to be good because of the fact that the Cosmo deck has inherently a very ignorant mechanic in the shape of the fact that none of them can be targeted, which means that you are completely reliant on your Ignister. The weakness is that you have, first of all, limited access to Ignister. You have ways to search out tuners now with the shape of Unexpected Die into Angel Trumpeter, which is a new level 4 vanilla tuner that's coming out. That's going to help you get access to Ignister. But the problem is that even if you do get to Ignister, you're going to have to play through Dart Destroyer, Infinity, Dark Lady, one of these 3, which is, pretty damn tough, right? So yeah, the deck is going to struggle immensely against Cosmo. Now, how do you alleviate this? So I've discussed with my friends, done a little bit of playtesting on stream if you've been watching. Now, first turn, like I said, it can do all these amazing boards, but now the problem is, if you're going to go to a major event like your Nationals, like the YCS is coming up and stuff like that, is Pendulum a good call? At least going first, it's not, because of the fact that, number one, you need to be fighting other players for winning the dice roll. So you need to be able to, win the dice roll and then set up your board. The problem is, like, even if we assume for the fact that you can win all your dice rolls across 11 rounds, hypothetically, the deck still can potentially, not exactly brick because it is quite consistent, but it can make very underwhelming turn 1 plays with the fact that you can't exactly waste your Ignister anymore, because previously you'd be able to make Ignister Turbo, going to Dynastor, Ignister, overlaying to 38, you'd be able to do all these powerful plays, but now you cannot waste your Ignister. You need that 1 Ignister to be able to deal with Cosmo's first turn, Cosmo's in that duel. Now, because of the fact that Ignister is so limited, it means your rank 8 and 4 plays are going to be quite limited because of the fact that you can't just keep, summoning out the deck, overlaying and stuff like that. So even if you assume that you can win all your dice rolls across a 11 round tournament, you're still going to have games where you make a very underwhelming first turn board, and you're obviously, potentially going to have games where you brick by drawing multiple Solemns and stuff if you choose to go down that route of deck building. So it's not a good shout for a major tournament. The deck is still very powerful, it's still very strong. You can still win a lot of games against Cosmo if you open well enough, but the problem is going first, you're going to be, like I said, you're going to have issues with the dice roll, and you're going to have issues with underwhelming, not exactly inconsistent, but underwhelming turn 1 plays. So if you want to play pendulums, I don't think going first is correct, because of the fact that, yes, if you're guaranteed to win all your dice rolls, you'll probably like top. If you can, make sure that you don't brick a lot or you open well enough throughout the 11 rounds. So what else is there to do? You can build for going second now, I guess. But the problem is that even with 6 cards, you're going to be struggling against fields of Cosmo who can open Infinity, Dart Destroyer, and Lady. Now, these 3 cards are going to be posing massive problems for you because Cosmo can do this 54% of the time. And the combos are on my channel if you want to scroll down and have a look. There's a new combo calculator app that's developed by one of my friends that you can check out on the channel as well. So we've calculated all the 3 card combos that Cosmo have available to them in the shape of Fire King Island and Terraformings to be able to make these nutty boards of Infinity, Dark Lady, and Dart Destroyer. Now, like I said, being able to fight through that is very, very tough. Now, pendulums kind of are okay to fight through an Infinity. You could probably fight through a Dark Lady as well. but you're going to struggle to fight through Dart Destroyer as well. Now all these things put together, even if they just open 2 of these things, the fact that you're going to be risking getting Dart Destroyer popped through Call of the Haunted if they're playing traps, which they probably shouldn't be, but you know, they might. You're going to risk being hit by Dart Destroyer through the Call of the Haunted, through the tag out effect, and like I said, you're going to have to be playing through multiple negations as well, in the shape of Lady in Infinity. Now, other problems, of course, mean that you're going to have to be playing non-combo cards in a very combo-oriented deck in order to deal with this. So you're going to have to be playing board wipes, potentially, even though like Dark Hole RAIGEKI aren't exactly great against Cosmo, but they do help deal with the Infinity and the Lady plays and the multiple pilots. Board wipes are still kind of good against Cosmo because of the shape of the deck going forward. Other ways, of course, you can play hand traps like Maxi to force them to stop, but this has its own problems in and of itself, like the fact that it's not a combo card. It's only good when you draw it turn 1. After that, it becomes a very big dead draw. So other ways, you can think of other ways to deal with the Cosmo board. You have Kaijus, you have Slumber. These are different engines that you can help to compensate the lack of Dart Destroyer removal in the deck. But again, Cosmo can very consistently put out these nutty boards compared to you having to play very underwhelming cards, because even though you're hypothetically able to clear their board, you still have a quite high chance of dying next turn because of the fact they're able to recur their plays through floating, through KOZMOTOWN, through Call of the Haunted. Cosmo aren't going to be put down easily without a fight if you choose to go second, which in testing has been kind of decent, but have to play a few more games, a few more days of pure testing against Cosmo to really figure out how good it is. But like I said, Cosmo very consistently can put out these nutty boards that you're going to have a tough time to struggle with by diluting your deck with these non-combo cards. And that's really all I wanted to talk about today. I just wanted to highlight the problems. As for solutions, I don't know. It's a very tough one to call. Right now, I'm on the fence. I think Pendulums are not a good shout for a major event, but I think maybe someone genius will break the deck and make it very powerful and still be able to beat Cosmo. But like I said, the consistency of Cosmo's high ceiling broken plays is way more than what you can do going second with dealing with all these multiple negations and Dart Destroyer pops. So, I can't provide any solutions, unfortunately, but I'd like to hear what you guys think. Like I said, Pendulums, they're still a good deck, they're still really good, but because of the current format, even though the deck is good, the decks that it's having to deal with, Monarchs aren't too bad, Burning Abyss still isn't too bad for this deck, but Cosmo, the most represented, well, best deck, which will probably be, is very, very problematic going forward. Not to mention, you risk things like Winter Blossom and banishing your Ignister. But it does have a lot of good support cards coming up. It does have the Phoenix, it does have the Unicorn to be able to set up your scales, and Phoenix can even help you out, Dart Destroyer. You still have ways to, make tuners and stuff. Scrap Archfiend, I think, Scarlight Archfiend, I think it's called, Scarlight something, can pop your opponent's field if you have Dweller up, and you should be able to banish, not banish, but stop all the floating. But being able to achieve this through multiple negations is really tough. Being forced to play non-combo cards again is really tough. So the deck is struggling. And I don't think, overall, my conclusion would have to be that the deck isn't good enough to win a high-level event. But the deck is still really strong in a vacuum. So if you're not looking to win a major event, you're just hoping to get far, maybe even top, Pendulums could do it. And I would not be surprised if they do achieve some tops. But is it good enough to be the best? Currently, no. But if you disagree, I'd like to know why. I'd like to know some of the strategies you guys have been employing. I'd like to know some of the techs you guys have been using, what kind of ideas and different combos and deck builds you've been using. Have you been going first with Pendulum? Have you been going second? What's your Cosmo matchup been like? These are all things I'd like to get going in the discussion. I'd really be interested in knowing how you guys have been faring in the Pendulum matchup. So yeah, thanks everyone for watching. I hope this has been somewhat of an informative discussion, and like I said, I hope to hear some of your thoughts. So thanks, comment, like, subscribe, and see you next time.
Come, face me, give in to your pride.